Okay. Hey everybody, it's Brown Mint Horror here. It's JC and RL.
Hey.
We're doing the first episode of Behind the Horror. Today we are with the cast and director of Dead Again, an independent horror film shot in London. We're with director Stephen Smith. Stephen, you can wave your hand and say hello.
Hi, how you doing?
There he is. Awesome.
I'm here.
And we've got our stars, Tony Fadil. Is that correct?
That's right, Tony Fadil. That's me. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
And his co-star, probably with the most awesome character name, Bruce Brody, Mr. Elliott Cable.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So, just to kick everything off, Mr. Tony, if you would like to give us a bit of your background, a couple pictures that you've been in, and how you got involved with the project.
My background is theatre and acting. I've been around the industry far too long. Love the independent world, guys. There isn't a better place for you to be. You meet the most genuine, hardworking, talented people that you could ever meet within the independent industry. It's a great mainstream to be part of. As for films and that for myself, I mean, I've done about 85 features, I think. So you pick one, have a go. A couple of TV shows over here I've done. Got into comedy probably only about 4 years ago with Burnt Toast. Was the first time. I never thought I had a comedy background. I'm very, very straight, to be honest with you. Not so much funny, but that seems to work as a funny man. The straight man seems to be the funny man. So right. That does seem to work for me. Do you know what I mean? So I've been quite lucky. Dead Again. Worked with Stephen quite a few times. I love working with Stephen. He does give me complete freedom to go off on a limb and do what I want. I do a lot of methods, so he leaves me alone to go into my own world and create whatever way I want to go. And if he needs to direct me, he does. Other than that, he lets me run. He contacted me telling me that he'd got a film called Dead Again that he'd wrote, and he wrote this piece for me totally in mind of this character that I was playing. And when I read the script, it was awesome. It was funny. It was talented. It had some really great ups and downs in it. And I just thought, you know, it's got to be one that I've got to do. I'm one of these people that I'll read a script. I get a lot of scripts sent to me. There's a load here that I'm going through at the moment. Not all good for me. I don't just take anything. If I don't think it suits, I don't do it. But this one, I could really see myself playing. I could actually feel the character speaking to me in the head. So I knew it was right for me.
Nice. And thank you so much. Mr. Elliott.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah,
awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with this dynamic duo?
Sure. So I kind of similar in a way to Tony. I was acting since I was a kid. Nothing huge. Obviously, just like, you know, school performances and school shows and stuff. And always just absolutely loved it. And it was for a really long time, it was something that I just kept as a really strong hobby. You know, I was like, it's, you know, the movies are not for me. I just enjoy acting. And so I went to university and I studied history of all things and did 3 years of history. Absolutely loved it. You know, really genuinely enjoyed my studies, and like I wrote a whole dissertation that I really genuinely enjoyed. But alongside that, my university was really lucky. We had this really amazing like screen society, shout out KTV. And they basically made quick shout out to KTV. They made like short films and feature films and web series. They even did like student news and weather and all of this kind of stuff. And it was just this really amazing media hub for students to just turn up and just kind of just make something. And so I got really involved with that from like my first week of being at university, and just fell for it, man. Like a lot of people do, just fell like head over heels for filmmaking. And doing well, like I love theatre, and you know, I basically after uni I went on and I trained at a drama school called Mount View here in London, and I absolutely love the theatre, man. I think the theatre's incredible, but I've really kind of almost tried to follow in Tony's footsteps and tried to really dive headfirst into this independent film scene, because it's eclectic and it's so rounded out. There's so many different people doing so many different things. And that's what's so exciting about it. And so funnily enough, I'm not sure if Tony mentioned, I know Tony does, I play a lot of policemen.
I noticed that. The
uniform
uniform
suits
suits
all
all
of
of
you
you
guys.
guys.
Several parts.
Yeah. For some reason, I just got into this typecast of policemen and just started playing them all the time and getting seen for them in all sorts of auditions. And I did a short film in 2018 called Positive Action, and basically it was kind of a very serious, kind of like straight-laced, this universe where there's been a sort of a zombie apocalypse, kind of, or a zombie outbreak, but it's contained like an illness, almost like diabetes or something. And there's this policeman, and he gets involved, X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah. And I ended up getting a phone call a little time after it came out. It was on Amazon Prime, from Stephen, basically being like, hi, look, I've seen this film, I've written this script, I've got this role, it's this, but bigger.
Stephen's like, that film was crap, this film's gonna be way better, I need you to come along and do this, okay?
Yeah, he's like, look, put that to one side, you want to come to my side of the tracks and I'll show you how to do it properly. And so like Tony said, man, I mean, the rest is kind of written. It was a really fantastic script. It was funny, it was interesting, and again, I hadn't done a lot of comedy, being a year or so out of drama school where everything's very serious, and playing policeman roles that are, again, very, very serious. So getting brought in on this was really exciting, and I didn't have to audition, which was a novelty. It was straight away like, this is the guy. So yeah,
always a plus.
It was brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, so yeah, that was kind of how I got taken into it, and I remember talking to Tony and sort of wondering how this dynamic was going to come across. And then obviously I didn't know Tony before, we never worked together, we never met, and Tony just phoned me just after I kind of accepted the role from Stephen, and the minute we got on the phone, I was like, we're going to be fine, we're going to be good.
Yes.
Which was amazing. It was a real relief for me that it was, this really great duo that Stephen put together. So yeah, that's my rant. That's my rambling done. That's how I got involved.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Stephen, I can tell that, it had to have been a pleasure having someone of Tony and Elliot's caliber to work on this film with you guys and to make this vision, come to fruition. Give us a little background of yourself. How did you get into filmmaking? What led up to, say, here in the last year, with this pandemic and stuff like that? Obviously, I'm sure it had some kind of effect on producing a film such as Dead Again. I know one of our favorite parts, in addition to some of the funny scenes and stuff like that, was we loved that, the stock footage in the beginning of the film, those sounds.
That was very clever.
Yes. Clever. We loved that because I was like, 1,000, 1,500 years from now, when somebody watches this film, they may think like, damn, they took that straight from headlines. Maybe this really happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's an historical document.
Exactly. In 1,000 years, somebody will find Harry Potter and be like, man, can you believe that really happened?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I mean, that footage was shot in lockdown. Literally pointing a really good camera at the TV with the right filter and just filming what was on there. And everything on every single channel was doom and gloom. And I'm thinking, this just fits in with the movie. I must have recorded 3 or 4 hours of people just waffling on about how it's the end of the world, and that's how news reporters are. It's very kind of down and monotone. But to be honest with you, really, I needed additional time on the film and something to set it up, so it fitted in nicely. I mean, we shot the movie in originally 3 days, and we had an additional day, so 4 days on this movie. So yeah, I mean, talking about me as how I've got involved and how I started, well, I've been very, very creative. I think my mum said I was highly strung, which basically means I was very, very creative and had a vivid imagination. So I'd always write stories and wanted to make films. And even when I was sort of 10 or 11, I was given an 8mm camera, which had 4-minute cartridges. And I'd go out in the back garden and I'd shoot little war movies, and I'd shoot, you know, different things and experiment with these cameras. Nowadays, we're so lucky because everything is done on your own camera. You know, you've got a movie camera on your phone. You've got everything on your phone. It's a computer. I used to have to splice these things together on a splicing machine, which I think I still have. A little tiny 8mm film. So everything is instant now. Everything is so quick. And I think I've ended up learning that you have to live the moment. You have to be in that moment. So these guys, I mean, when it came to Dead Again, obviously I'd made quite a few other films before. I had a few successes and a few kind of things that didn't work out. But this, I thought, well, I'm going to do this myself. And I literally sat down, and I think it only took me 2 days to get the first draft, and then a further day of just polishing it. And then I sent it to the guys. And I don't think we really changed much in the script. But my knowledge of making micro-budget movies really helped me, because I'm not going to write something with a big, huge car chase or a massive, you know, I've kind of created an alien invasion and then said, the alien invasion is happening over there.
Right.
What about a little story here?
Yeah.
While we're here, something weird is happening, but it's actually happening over there. So you kind of get the idea that, I don't know, you know, in America, there's some real hick places that you could go to. It's equivalent of that. You know,
we live in one.
And you suddenly said to Hicksville, and there's people that live there and they have no understanding of life anywhere other than where they live. And that's really the heartbeat of the story. It's really a person who I thought, well, it's his last day and someone's first day, and they completely have different attitudes towards life. And I've worked with Tony before. I'd actually worked with Elliot on another thing that we were doing as well. And I just thought, well, I saw Elliot in this thing and I thought, well, this was serious. And to be honest with you, the character was serious. So the fact that it wasn't a comedy that he was doing his audition there and then, me watching what he can do on screen. And sometimes the best auditions are to be able to see somebody in a role and then say, well, we take that and develop it. Right. But Elliot and Tony are very, you know, confident actors. They have such range, and Tony can get into a role straight away. But I wanted to put this role to give a little bit of Tony himself, who I know personally. So I kind of wrote it in a way where actually off camera, he'd be the same jolly kind of character.
Right. And that definitely came across in the beginning, for sure.
And Elliot's character is very kind of the opposite. And it kind of really helps that, you know, I kind of arranged that they come with me in the van, which I had all my equipment in, and we go down. And that way, the 4-hour drive from London, because it was shot in Devon, we kind of they were actually reading the script out to me in the van. And I'm thinking, this is going to be fun, because it was really working just with them too, because you have these long monologues between each other. But yeah, I mean, it was good. The point is, when you're making these sort of movies, you have no money, so you just want to make it as much fun as possible. I am, as a director, I'm kind of saying, well, let's give you a bit of freedom, as long as you stick to what happens and we get from point A to point B to point C without going too far off the tangent. Show me what you can do. You know, as an actor, you can really, on the character, you can really build the character. And that's how I tend to work as a director.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
And it's piggybacking off what you said about Tony's character himself, basically acting out himself in this role. What I loved was Tony's character in the beginning, you know, it's his last day. And then, you know, I don't know if we'll have to edit this out later. Shit hits the fan. And he's got his rookie. He's took him under his wing. You know, he's showing some love. And then Tony finds, I don't know, almost like this big purpose has come across his lap to go after this. And then at the end, Elliott has turned in from being the rookie guy to new badass.
They've shifted.
Yeah.
That's right. They've shifted into, well, actually, you shouldn't really do everything they teach you. I mean, there's a saying over here: you're not taught to drive. You're not really taught to drive. You're learning to pass your test, because when you're driving, it is different to the way you're taught.
Right.
True enough.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with human beings who are idiots on the road.
Right.
So
come to Nashville, Tennessee sometime, please.
Yeah, Nashville's it.
So it's irrational and rational behavior mixed together. And then you've kind of got that, and you've got one that's rational saying that's wrong, and you've got one that's irrational going, why? I don't care. So
RL, it may be a little too soon, but we're looking forward to the sequel and Elliott's new badassery, coming to light with Mr. Tony again. So
I'm imagining the apocalyptic wasteland.
Right. I mean, come on. So
I think they've had children by now in the second part.
Oh Lord.
Together?
Yeah, we've adopted children we found
adopted a little alien.
Oh God!
They've got some eggs. It starts with the eggs in the incubator, and they're both going, should we keep these warm?
Taking turns sitting on them.
Right. Tony believes that one of them has the cure. They're gonna foster it up and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they save her. Yeah, totally. I see it.
We just wrote the script right here. It's
right. Just give us like a small
copyright it.
Exactly.
Copyright it.
Well, cool deal. Thank you so much for everybody's introduction and some of the background on the film so far. Yep. We're gonna let RL take it, and we're gonna go into a little bit of horror trivia. I promise this shouldn't be boring.
It'll be real short.
Look at that guy. Hold on one second. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Just JC threw his back out the other day, so he can barely stand.
Please,
so
sir.
We're working with him here.
Oh, me too. That makes two of us.
Look at this guy right here.
Have you seen the Tiny Terrors, where they're basically Scooby-Doo villains?
Yeah, I see. You see, this was bought years ago, and it's missing. It's missing the dagger, but I think it's good.
I think Tony had the knife in his hand earlier.
Yeah.
Did you not see it? Look at this. There it is.
Awesome.
I don't have anything. I can go for a shoe. I don't have anything.
Well, now that we've all held up our items of choice, so we can move on.
So what we're gonna do here is it's just gonna be a quick icebreaker, guys, just to kind of keep it light. So we'll start with Elliot, since he says he's the least likely to get it right. I'll try to throw you a softball on this one, buddy. I got you. Hold on.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Okay. Let's see. You said you made these easy, man. Hold on. Hell, I don't even know the damn answer to these. Okay, hold on. No, I got it.
You got it.
No, I got you. We were going to try to keep it with like a zombie or alien theme, but it's fine. So, what Pirates of the Caribbean actor appeared in the original Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984?
Ding, 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 ding.
Mr. Cable. My man.
Fantastic.
I didn't know
1 point.
I thought
With 1 point on the board.
I was wrong. I was thinking Scooby-Doo. There you go.
Do we just come in if we know the answer?
I said it with such confidence.
No. We got to go round robin on the first one.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Come on. Give me a chance, Steve. Come on.
All right, Tony. So, all right. What lead actor from the original 1956 film had a cameo in Invasion of the Body Snatchers in 1978?
Oh God!
I don't even know that person.
Man, it definitely ain't Scooby-Doo.
It's not Scooby-Doo, but you're close. So it looks like the name of the actor is Kevin McCarthy, and I couldn't tell you who that is. Elliot, I'm trying to give it to you here, buddy. I'm trying.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sorry about that, Tony. Sorry about that. All right, Mr. Steven.
Better luck next time, pal. Better luck next time.
So, Steven, who directed Dawn of the Dead in 2004?
In 2004,
Yes, sir.
is it Zack Snyder?
Oh my God. What?
You didn't think I
Mr.
was gonna know
Smith
that, did you?
swipes in and takes your thunder, Mr. Cable. All right. So you could chime in with a
Because
That
bell.
was a trick question, wasn't it? You were expecting me to
I was
say Mr.
trying to help
Rivera.
my man out here. Okay. I was trying to help him out. All right.
I
So
appreciate you, RL.
you can jump in here and just chime in with the answer. First person to get it right wins. So this is
Do
it.
we have to like, make a noise?
Everybody
or
just do a
something and
hand
we'll
motion
choose?
like this, and we'll pick whoever puts their hand up first.
I think you should have to cluck like a chicken, but the hand thing will work. Yeah. In Dead Alive 1992, what is the relationship between the first zombie Vera and the protagonist Lionel?
Mr.
Are you
Steven.
giving me the hand, Steven? What is it?
They're aren't they married?
That is incorrect.
Ah,
Mr. Cable.
Is it his mother?
It is his mother.
oh,
Mr.
God,
Cable
yes,
with the win. With
You got
the-
it.
We
that-
gotta give him one more. Tony has to get one.
Okay, Tony.
I don't. I like to be the odd one out.
No, I'll give you an easy one this time. All right.
Wink,
I
wink,
said that
nudge,
'cause he
nudge.
still won't get it, and then he'll feel bad about himself.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
These are really hard. Like, who bought me this game?
I don't know.
All right, anyway, Tony, we'll send you like a $1 gift card to Starbucks or something as a consolation prize. Okay. That'll get you
Hang on,
1/10 of a
hang
cup
on.
of
A $1 gift card to Starbucks and a £375 air ticket to get there.
coffee. Right, exactly. Exactly.
No
Hey,
Starbucks.
no Starbucks?
No, we
Anywhere?
have Starbucks.
It
We have
Doesn't
Starbucks.
taste the same.
Starbucks.
Doesn't taste the same,
Not
yeah.
the same.
Okay.
nothing.
Not as
Nothing
good.
tastes the
Not as
same
good.
over here as it
It's
does.
not as good. Our McDonald's is crap. Yours is much better.
Right.
Wow.
It's
You guys
true.
serve. You guys serve.
You use
beer
real
in
meat. I
McDonald's,
don't know
right?
what they put in our burgers over here, but it ain't real meat.
So have
Whoa,
you
what happened to him?
have you been to Nashville, Tennessee? Any of the three of you?
What happened to Tony? Sorry.
Hello,
That
Doc.
was
Tony
Tony's dead.
clapped.
Tony is gone.
That's what I was when he
Wow.
talked about
His
McDonald's.
green
He just-
screen fell down.
There we go. Hello.
All right, we got him back. We got him back. Have any of you guys been to Nashville, Tennessee?
No, never.
No,
Love to, but
no.
never have.
So here's the thing. This is, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Tony. And one of the reasons why we are looking to kind of do this series and work with you guys is that in Nashville, Tennessee, every single person that I meet is a songwriter, a guitar player, a this or that type of guy. He either does that,
There he is.
right?
I wonder why.
Oh no, Tony he left. He was out. Is he
Bored of
bringing a
you, man.
guitar
Bored.
back?
He's definitely going to bring a guitar back,
Oh,
without a
Lord.
doubt.
Oh,
Oh,
There
all
Do
right.
we need guitar? I could just have a little banjo. When I'm cleaning windows.
Elliott's just got the shoe.
Elliot, call us on your shoe phone. But the thing about it
Hello,
is
Grandman.
that we literally, one of the reasons that we wanted to deep dive into independent films is that living here has brought the realization of there's a lot of hardworking people in the background that aren't getting those gigs at the Wild Horse Saloon or feature film in Hollywood. And we want to kind of spotlight those guys and show like what is out there and what people are missing as far as content goes. Because honestly, like, we loved the film. We thought it was hilarious. We also thought there were some really good serious parts, and it just had a great storyline. But to shoot a film in 3 days, obviously very difficult.
Yeah.
To put two actors together who haven't been on scene together before and have that type of chemistry, obviously very hard to do. And so, tell us a little bit about, what the first reactions were after day one. Where were you guys at? Were you like partying in the hotel room thinking like, damn, we made it? Or were you like, holy crap, who would put us together again? Like, how did that go for you guys?
Me
So we-
and Elliot were literally every night we were breaking our backs rehearsing pretty much every night.
Yeah.
We'd go back from set. We'd have long days.
We did have gin though. We had gin.
So I always have gin. I always carry a
Yeah.
bottle of gin with me. It's nice to have a couple of glasses with your fellow colleagues and unwind at the end of the night. Pick up the script, and it's all about prep. It's all about the prep. If you love what you do, there's no such thing about time. If you love what you do, you know, I can work 24 hours around the clock in the film industry. I never get tired. I love what I do. And it isn't a job, it's a passion, like I said. So every night we got back from me and Elliot, for me especially, it was straight on, baths, sit down. I'd cook something to eat, we'd do a dinner, we'd have a couple of drinks, sit down with a script, and we'd prep for tomorrow, get ready.
Well, that was the thing. You two guys, these two guys, they basically stayed together. That way it was easier. And they actually stayed in the village that we were shooting in, which was very convenient.
Cool.
For people like
no bars,
me,
no clubs, nothing.
No,
Didn't really plan,
they were away.
really plan that one out.
Because I know them in real life, you see. But for me, they finish. My evening didn't finish. So basically, because it is micro budget, you know, we were filming in a massive abandoned building. Luckily, I know all of these guys, so it was particularly cheap, but it was a huge place. Yeah. But of course, I have to lock up at night. So I'm opening up and locking up. So it's kind of, everyone else finishes. I'm probably not out until sort of 9, 10 o'clock at night, going around in an abandoned building, making sure everything's turned off, locking up. Then I'd go back to the hotel. I'd convert all the footage. So, and then do the next day's shots and work out what I'm going to do. So for me, I didn't have much downtime. But because it's only 3 or 4 days, you could really push yourself on those days. I think the key to this, I remember what I tend to do with everybody is we get together before the beginning of the shoot, and we either have we go to an English pub if we can, when they're back open as well. But we end up having a meal, or we go somewhere and have something to eat. So I try to do it that way. But it's been a bit difficult lately with because I've had other films that I've worked on. But yeah, I mean, it's I think from what we did in 3 days, I found it that I would be asleep within 10 minutes because I was so tired.
Yeah.
So
right.
you'd wake up, bang. Yeah.
3 days shooting this film.
Yeah.
Like
we were shooting another movie. We were actually shooting another movie at the same location.
At the same time.
Directly, yeah, at the same time.
Back to back.
Okay.
So
I think the interesting part for me was, like sort of Stephen touched on, we spent the first 4 hours of meeting each other stuck in a van with, like, you know, these two guys and me in the middle, and me and Tony kind of just cracking into each other and just like running the lines and just really kind of getting into it. And then we had that first day on set, and like we said, again, we kind of rampaged through 15 pages of nothing but dialogue. And so after that first day, I remember sort of getting back and being like, wow, okay, that's that out of the way. And so we knew that the kind of, a lot of the days to come, we couldn't just rely on each other, because that first day was just me and Tony. And then into the second and third day, it suddenly started to involve a lot of other moving parts, a lot of other actors, a lot of other locations and stuff. So getting back, whilst we were kind of on fire, we were like, okay, we absolutely crushed that. At the same time, we were like, okay, but also now we've got to get down into this. We've got to, you know, work out for ourselves what comes next and how we go about it. Because it's not just a case of us two getting on. Suddenly there's 3 other actors in the room, and suddenly there's an action sequence, and we've got to build a barricade in a room, and we've got to, you know, fight through these zombies or whatever it may be. So even though we weren't doing as much work as maybe Stephen was in terms of, you know, logistics of the film, a lot of our sort of downtime was spent figuring out, you know, the next day. And I think we were all very, very aware that we only had 3 days, maybe a 4th day at a push. At first, we didn't think we'd have that 4th day. So, you know, we were amping ourselves up to do a feature film in 3 days.
I think that's
worked hard all the time.
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways, guys. There's so many, with everyone having a streaming platform and everyone, you know, during the pandemic and staying at home and stuff like that, you're kicked back on the couch and you pull it up on Amazon Prime or Tubi TV or whatever, and you watch this flick. You watch this next zombie movie. This, as critics have, kind of pushed it as like Hot Fuzz meets Shaun of the Dead. Someone sits down and watches this and it's like, oh, that was great. And they move on to the next film. I'm so thankful to have you guys here to be able to shed light on this, because 3 days just seems completely insane to me.
Well, I think too, like one thing that JC and myself, we talk about, and we've really been running it through our minds a lot, is that we think right now, we've been doing Brown Mint Horror for 10 years together. We've been, Facebooking and Instagramming and all these different things on and off for 10 years. And I think right now this is the perfect time for independent to just take over, because you don't have, movie releases, theater releases, and all these things just jumping out ahead of you, where it's like, oh, if they throw the name Michael Myers on the screen, everybody leaves the TV and goes floods to the theater. You don't have to worry about that right now. And so we really want to push over the next 365 days as this becomes our new normal way of life, and really focus in on these independent films. When you pull up a movie, it doesn't tell you underneath it how long it took to make. People don't really get to see.
It doesn't even say independent film.
No, you don't get to see that push. And so we want to release these behind the films, behind the horror type of things for people to get that deep dive and really understand what you guys do on a daily, wearing so many different hats to make a production happen,
to entertain us,
to entertain me, make me happy, and give me something to do.
That's exactly what I try to do with it. I try to make some escapism. It's about you sitting there and going, okay, it's short enough for you not to get bored, and it's quick enough for you to want more. So you're kind of going bang, bang, bang. Oh, and there's twists. And that was the point, because I think there are so many independent films that kind of are either too long or they don't have enough to captivate someone in the opening few minutes. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's great what you're doing, because the independent side of filmmaking is becoming more and more difficult because of Netflix and Amazon. Amazon recently have said they're not doing DOD anymore, and they've put their prices down. I mean, Tubi pays better than Amazon. I don't know why, but Amazon have reduced their cost for. They've slaughtered independent movies, even from mainstream distributors. So it's becoming more and more difficult. It's about the exposure, and it's about what you're delivering. I mean, somebody said, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I used to love going down to Blockbuster when it was open, and just scouring for every single
video. Talk to us, Stephen. Talk to us.
Preach it.
And going, well, what the hell is this? I want to know what that is. I'm going to borrow that. I'm going to watch that. But nowadays, with the algorithms that they have on Amazon and Netflix and all these search places, you just can't find those films. They're on there. They're buried. They're buried in algorithms.
Yeah. We explained to not to cut you off there, but we explained to Sharry that in addition to our passion being for independent films, I mean, me so more than RL here, my passion is the physical media platform. Like being able to have someone, come to my home and see my collection, be able to me to able to recommend a film and say, here, take this. Or, when I get a film in my hands, like a DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, I look at that and I'm like, dude, somebody worked really hard to just get this freaking thing out into my hands. So what does that look like? Now we have, with this behind the scenes or behind the horror, series or whatever, we have insight now to be a little more appreciative of that. And we realize too that, the more awareness you bring to that, the less likely that platform is to die.
Right. Exactly.
And as Mr. Stephen was saying, an algorithm is the killer. A great film could get buried. Why am I searching for 5 minutes and at the bottom, I'm not even nowhere near the bottom of Tubi, and then all of a sudden Hellraiser is there?
Or Alien, or yeah, I mean, I literally got to film number 600 on mine, and it
And
popped up.
who chooses the 5-star movies or the classic movies? Who is it that's choosing those?
Well, you know, they
Because
sent out, you know, they
that's an
sent out a
independent-
code. They sent
No,
out a
it's
code
it.
for you to look them up, and like,
Yeah.
I went online the other day, and I was like, how do I search just horror films, or how do I whatever? And there's a code you can type in the search bar that will pull
Right.
up every single horror film that's on Netflix. Well,
But that's
I mean,
good on a computer, but
how would you know? How would you know that if you weren't searching it? Like, it's insane to me. Insane.
That's right. So that reduces sales, that reduces money to independent filmmakers. It increases sales for the bigger films, which is what they want. You know, they're so worried, the studios are so worried that they're going to foul with their $25-30 million film. It'd be interesting to see what happens to Coming to America tomorrow.
Oh,
because,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we get it on Amazon Prime, and that will probably be one of the biggest selling films ever, I think, on Amazon. But it's interesting because I think that the way forward, I mean, our film luckily is going in Walmart. Dead Again's going in Walmart, which I think is going to be in time for September or October time. So, you know, that again is the only real last opportunity people have to go and look for all the titles and, oh, that looks interesting. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. But yeah, it is something that the future is that you're either going to have these really tiny, fascinating original films, or you're going to have this stuff that has named actors in it in bits, like Bruce Willis for 30 seconds or whatever.
Right.
That everyone goes, it's the same old thing.
Yeah,
So
Die Hard 28.
This is a good thing this year, because with this year, there's a company, there's a thing that's launching this year very soon. I'm part of. It's called Indie Film Rocket, and it is a film platform similar to Netflix, similar to Amazon, but it is only for independent filmmakers. There is no middleman. Everything's cut out of it.
Plug it, baby.
The profits go directly to the filmmaker itself, and a small percentage to Indie Film Rocket for putting it out for them. And that is what's happening this year. That is run by a guy called Paul J. Lane. Paul is a life coach. He's a drama teacher. He owns a massive, great big drama school in London. And he's the one that's designed this. I'm working alongside him to get this launched and get it running this year. We'll be launching it at a premiere when we do the premiere of Web Crawler, which is a TV series that we've just finished shooting as well. It's one of the things that's going to be going up onto the platform, and we've already got a few people signed into it. So I'll send you over some more information about that. It's called Indie Film Rocket. It is purely for independent filmmakers and no one else.
We would love to talk to him too. That's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
This is the thing. I think the thing that I've taken away from this conversation is, like, part of indie filmmaking is opportunism and trying to find the ways, kind of like what Tony was saying, I think, before we started recording, about having to navigate in this world that is dominated by bigger companies, but finding ways to go, okay, you won't let me do this? Well, look, I'll find my own way around. And I think something that I found really interesting about Stephen as well, and the way that Dead Again has kind of come out, is that, you know, we this independent film world is kind of undervalued and it's underseen. And so filmmakers like Stephen will find a way to try and push it as much as it can be. So he'll incorporate things. You know, we didn't have planned for the film to have any kind of COVID references or kind of, you know, real world references to it. But obviously,
it was written before. It was written before, wasn't it?
Right.
Exactly. It's opportunism. You find something that is relevant now that people will go, oh, this is about a virus breaking loose in a time during COVID. Maybe I'll watch it and see what's up. And it's finding these ways to navigate these really really rubbish algorithms.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's more to that story really than that, Elliot, because basically when I pitched the film, they said, we don't want any COVID related films. And I said, okay. So I went away and thought, well, actually, why don't we make it seem like it's a COVID film, but not a COVID film? So you get those. That's what gave me the idea of all the people on, you know, Trump and all the people involved.
Being hugely like reactionary to the world around you, I think, is really really important. And like we had I remember, I think maybe the second day or third day on set, we found out overnight, between us being on set one day coming to set in the morning, they'd released a trailer for a film called The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray and do you remember that?
Mhm.
With Bill
Yep.
Murray and Adam Driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, this is a buddy cop film about there being an apocalypse and there's some humor in it. And we were like, well, fuck, man, that's our number.
Exactly.
If
Right.
anything, that we were like, okay, if this is the thing that people are going for, if this is the genre people are leaning into, then let's steer into the skid. Let's go, let's take that and turn it up a notch and let's go even further into it. And it's an opportunism and it's reactionary and finding the things that are working now and finding the way to benefit us.
Max.
Tony's dog is hungry.
Yeah.
Yes. No, someone's at my door. Someone's at my door. I think my missus is just coming home from work, guys. You're going to see another person wander through in a minute.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Wander through the green.
That's the same with Dead Again, though, Steve, isn't it? I mean, they never actually wanted the title originally either, did they? They didn't like
No.
but we managed to hang on to that.
we had lots of different titles, and
tell us original. Tell us one of the titles that didn't get used. We got to know that.
So there was, I think it was something like
Bruce Brody's Big Day
Alien
Out.
Zombies versus the Alien Zombie Apocalypse or something like that. It was the police or the cops. Something like
Paranormal Department was one of them.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that was a working title.
Bruce Brody Strikes Back.
Right, exactly.
Dawn of the Feds.
I think it was something like British Bobbies versus the Alien Zombie Apocalypse.
Okay,
One
I
of the
just came up
titles
with
I went for.
a great sequel name.
All right.
Go. Let's hear it.
Triple B. Bobby Bruce Brody. And it'll just be like a B with like the Alien 3. So
B to the third power.
B to the third Strikes Back.
No,
Yeah,
that title is like
Bobby Bruce Brody. I like that.
Yeah, no, I think that title's like a morgue in a
Live
recession.
interview in America. You say hello? You say hello to this? No, you're running away. Okay.
Hi, whoever you are.
Hello.
She's run away. She's run away.
Well, let's do this. For everybody that's watching this right now, let's get Tony and Elliot's let's get them to say what their favorite scene was shooting. Tony, you go first. What was your favorite scene to shoot in this film?
Oh, there was lots. Let me think of it. Well, I mean,
72 hours, you're going balls to the wall. I know it's hard to nail down one particular scene, but what was it that was funnest?
It's gonna probably be the one where me and Elliot are leaving the room for the first time when we decide that we're gonna go on this war rampage. We're gonna attack them, and we've done this great little ad lib scene. It was almost like the Marx Brothers with the
Right?
and
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can see you.
that was probably there was a lot of highlights, but for me that was great. Even watching it back, it was funnier watching it back than it was even doing it at the time. It was just an ad lib scene. He went to run, I went to grab him. I thought, well, I'll go first. And then we couldn't speak because we wanted to alert anybody. So it was quite funny. Yeah, it was quite entertaining.
Elliot, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think the fourth day that we had, Stephen pulled God knows how many favors and got maybe like 40 extras or something crazy on into this abandoned, really scary building. And so it was a full day of me and Tony just tearing around this house with guns, getting chased. And there was one scene in particular where we come down the stairs and just having that real kind of like we did this back-to-back thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was so awesome.
Yeah.
With the machine, and it was, for me, it was every video game fantasy I've ever had of us, like coming down the stairs and shooting these, and then being back to back and throwing the guns.
Yes.
So that for me was absolutely hands down my favorite thing to do. That was so much fun.
I think one of the things that we liked the best, speaking of the extras, was
Oh my God,
the first like group of zombie walks. There's a bigger guy
I'll try to do it.
that does like this crazy walk.
He's like,
he like creeps around.
That's can.
Dude, I've never
that
in my
funny?
life laughed so hard. And it was funny because he wasn't in every zombie walk. He was in about every 3. And you just see his leg come through the screen, and it's like, oh my God, that's him. JC, that's him. Look, watch. We're like, how many times can I pinpoint this guy in these scenes? It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
I don't think he realizes the effect that his persona had on this film.
We're
So
gonna
if
have
you
to
talk
show
to
you
him,
if we can.
please let him know.
Really gonna have to show you
Because
if we can.
the three main ones that came in
Oh my
walking in the
God.
first one, they had like a real zombie-ish walk, you know, like
Oh,
thriller.
do you want to know the story behind this? Do you want to know the reason?
All right, tell us about
Do
it.
it.
Tell us
Well,
about it.
because we shot the first 3 days was shot as part of a group of a week and a half of shooting 2 movies, and we were supposed to have lots of supporting artists come on this day, and it rained and we didn't get any. So basically, we ended up having 3 people to shoot some of this stuff. So we thought
Members of the crew
gonna
already.
shoot-
They were already doing about
They're all
5
part
other
of the
jobs
crew.
on the crew.
So,
Nice.
and then of course we had the additional day, and we came back a few months later when it was warmer, and obviously it attracted a lot more people. I think we had 52 people supporting us on that day, and a lot of them were children as well, which was great.
None of them had the
So-
walk that he had. None
There
of them
is a
had that
blooper
walk.
reel.
No, he goes in the Hall of
Steve.
Fame for best
Steve.
zombie walk.
Yeah, if you like this, there is a blooper reel, and they do all fall over, those 3. And I will send you the link.
We need to
It's
see
Yeah.
that.
hilarious.
We
Steve,
gotta
Yes,
see
we
it.
will
Steve,
include that as a
Steve,
link in this video at the end.
It's so
Steve,
good, man.
Steve, you've got to send him. You've got to send him the clip in Baldstall of when he goes over backwards and his legs are in the air.
The Oompa Loompa
Oh my
roll.
God. It was
Yeah,
so it was so good. I mean, that definitely was like one of my highlights for the film. I just thought, like, and every time he would come out, like, I was screaming. My wife and kids are in the other room while we're screening the movie, and I'm like yelling, and I'm like, oh my God, he's doing it again. He's doing it
And
again.
that's
We're sorry,
And
we'll
that's-
have to send you some bits, won't we?
and that's
Ken,
the
I'm sorry.
yes, that's the thing though. It's like here's this
Incredible.
independent film that we watched,
Yeah.
and years from now we will reference that for sure.
We are definitely, we're very big on referencing movies in our everyday conversation. And so
Okay, so my favorite part of the film, you didn't ask me my favorite.
Well, I was getting to that.
all
Sorry.
right.
So my
What would-
favorite,
yeah.
my favorite part, I know there's 2 bits. There's one, they're basically interacting with everybody in that main library room. And there's one where Mark Wingett, who's been in a few TV
Mhm.
things, he
Yep.
stands up and says, "It's the end of the world," which I absolutely
Yeah.
love. And there's a bit where Tony's trying to say the Sigourney Weaver line.
Yep.
I absolutely love that line. My 2 favorite lines. I'd laughed my head off when I was writing it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, because everybody wants to be Sigourney Weaver, don't they? Everybody wants to be an alien
Right.
in that suit.
Right.
I could go and do anything.
Yep.
Right.
And that's
That's
one
awesome.
of my favorites.
Yes.
It definitely had it was such a good part when he brings that up, that it was just like we were sitting there looking at each other like, did he just say that out loud? Like, was that supposed to be there?
Like we've got a Jaws reference, an Aliens reference. Like, let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, Jaws. We've got quite a few.
Yeah, it
There's
was
about
very good.
20 references to lots of different films from my
Yes, sir.
childhood. Yeah, basically
Easter eggs.
80s.
So great.
Yeah,
I-
Thundercats.
Thundercats. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's awesome. So,
That was funny.
guys, I guess where we want to go at this point before we close. First of all, thank you so much for letting us be able to chat with you. Before everybody got on, it was just us speaking with Tony, and then Tony was really on a soapbox for a second, really preaching to us about independent filmmaking and how, you know, now is kind of like the time to do it. You know, now everybody has a camera on their phone. Mr. Tony, if we have, I mean, here we are here in Nashville, Tennessee, I believe it's going to be the future Hollywood. I mean, there's so much that you can do here, and there's so many people moving in. What is it? How many thousands of people a week are moving in?
Well, it's 100 people a day move to Nashville, Tennessee, in the greater Nashville area.
So
Wow.
we have everybody coming here that does
Wow.
everything. So Mr. Tony and Stephen, chime in on this. You too, Elliot. If somebody's watching this and they're thinking about, they're writing a script and they're like, I couldn't do that. or they're thinking about filming something and they're like, oh, I could never do that. What advice, be their life coach? What, we want to see more of this. We want to usher in a new generation of filmmakers. Tony, what would you say to them?
Well, rule number one is definitely about networking. You've got to support each other. If you're not going to be willing to do that, you're not going to get very far. You need to support. If you see a premiere come up, if there's a £5 ticket to go and watch it, go along, buy the ticket, watch the movie, talk to the producers, directors, the actors, the crew that are there, get to know them, take some numbers. These are all people that are in the same field and the same walk as we are. They're no bigger, no smaller. We're all on the same path together. So the more we support each other, the more we will move forward. Don't ever let anyone shut you down and try and stop you making an independent film. We have the freedom to do it and no one can tell us we can't. It's what we love doing. And when it comes to the acting side of things, for those people that are struggling out there, the guys that you've got around you, especially if it's that many people coming there and there's a lot of talent out there, don't be put off. If you get up every morning with an actor's heart, with that in your mind, and that's what you're doing, you're already a success. You're already making a life of something you love doing. And the only way you fail is if you stop. Don't stop. Just keep moving forward. Whether it's small steps or big steps, it doesn't matter. If you need to support yourself with a job, do so. Like Elliot said earlier, take a smaller side into the acting world, creep into it slowly, but just keep moving forward all the time. And when it comes to the independent world, listen, you've got to, it's all about support. I cannot push enough with networking support. Get yourself, if you're an actor behind the camera, work with the crews, learn how things are done there, appreciate what each other do. And if you're a crew member, get in front of a camera, become a supporting artist, do a little bit of work, learn what each other do. And then when you find that unity, that family that you work with, that you click with, you can do long hours, it doesn't matter. You can support me, I'll support you, we'll get through this. You're going to make it and you will make it strong. And there's so much talent out there, raw or not. There's I've worked with some amazing talent that's never going to get a chance to get discovered, but through the independent world, you can be seen, you can be heard, and you can't be stopped.
Awesome. Elliot, give us your,
take.
Take.
It's exactly that. I mean, it's a team game at the end of the day. You do not make it out here on your own. Networking is so important. I learned that from Tony, I've got to say, and just to put it bluntly, no one hates getting sucked up to. If you feel like you've got to kind of push your ego aside to go and suck up to someone, then just do it. They're not going to be like, no, because everyone loves a compliment. So that kind of thing, that kind of way of networking, like Tony said, get to the premieres, do this, that, and the other. It works. And also, if you are, like you guys saying, if you've got a script you want to make, if you are surrounded by creative people, pull favors, exploit them as far as you can, and then do the same back for them. I mean, case in point, I'm in production for a film of my own now that I wrote over the first lockdown, and we're actually shooting on Sunday. And I mean, Jesus, the amount of favors I'm pulling is outrageous. But we do it because, again, like Tony said, they know that I'll have their back when they need the same thing. And that's kind of it. Just exploit what you have while it's there. Because you could, especially if you're studying or something like that, you'll be surrounded by so many creatives and so many people that are wanting to get into it, and so many people that are on the same page as you. So use them, and then even if it's a terrible film, you've got something that is yours, something you have made, something that is an example of what you can do. And when you talk to agents, casting directors, producers, even if you don't have the world's best show reel, they just want to see a scene, even if it's like a self-tape. They just want to see something that you've made, something that you've done, an example of who you are and what you do. And so I think just having this, even if it's one thing, but an arsenal of here's what I am, the ability to just hand off someone and go, this is who I am, this is what I do. And okay, I only did it, with £100, but imagine what I could do with £1,000. And then you go, oh, I did this with £1,000. Imagine what I could do with £10,000. And the more you do it, again, like Tony said, if I create a film and I premiere it somewhere, there will be someone who will go, oh, it's a £5 ticket, a $5 ticket to the premiere. I'll just go along and I'll talk to the people. You can create your network that way. Basically, I'm just going 100 ways around the houses to repeat what Tony said. And, don't do it on your own. Exploit what you have. Try hard and network within an inch of your life, shamelessly.
You're never on your own. They never. In the independent world, there's always a Facebook. You can go on Facebook. You can find someone. You can talk to someone. There's always someone there, and we're always willing to help. We're not the big guys. We don't shut you down because you haven't got this credit behind your name, or you haven't got that agent, or this isn't your spotlight, or you didn't get your headshots done by this guy. We don't shut anybody down. We'll look at anything that's talent, and we'll bring it along. And if it ain't perfect, we'll mold it. We'll make it work.
Mm. Also, there's a stigma. There's a stigma around sort of doing free work. But for me, it was my sort of shoe in, and I went from doing free work, completely unpaid, to suddenly, okay, my expenses are going to be covered, and then suddenly from that into being like, oh, you're going to get paid, and now it's like, okay, I can do paid work now. Look, if you're that stuck, look for free work. Look for people who will employ you, but it will be on a free basis, and then again, you can do the same back, and get your foot in the door any way you can. Like Tony said, if you wake up excited with the heart to go and do it, you won't mind not getting paid because you're just happy to be there, and it's just a sort of a step in the journey that you're going on.
Amen.
Experience, isn't it? Experience is payment. I mean, you get on camera. I mean, to be able to stand in front of a camera and do what you love is payment enough, guys. How much more do you want? As long as you can survive through it, as long as you're not coming along and you're out of pocket, as long as you're being fed, you're being watered, your bus or your train fare or your petrol's being covered, that is experience on its own. That is a payment on its own, to be out there and to do something and to be on a screen and last forever and eternity. It's never going to go away. Once that's printed and it's up on that shelf behind you, I'm never going to die. In another 1,000 years, when someone goes on the internet and puts it out, it might be crap, but I'll still be here. You will live forever. You will become immortal. That's what the Highlander said.
Stephen, go ahead.
I mean, from my perspective, it's about having a buzz. I mean, if you've got a buzz for anything to do with filmmaking, any element of it, anybody can do it. Nowadays, you say, Tony said this, I think, earlier on, that you have cameras built into your phones. You can go off and shoot something. My advice to anybody who's trying to get out there is to come up with an idea that costs nothing, literally nothing to make. It could be a 5-minute film. You then start to pick up the people around you that you need to make that film. And then you start to build your team through networking, through showcasing, through mistakes, because there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Some people are so scared, I want to do this right, I want to do that right. Filmmaking is about everybody collaborating. And I've had some of the most amazing ideas have been on set when we're shooting it, going, well, why don't we do this instead? Recently I've just done a movie and we did what we were doing, and I suddenly came up with an idea on the spot. And even people like Spielberg and Hitchcock, all these great directors, they've done things like that. So there is no right way and there is no wrong way to make films, but there is always heart. And if you have the heart and the buzz and the passion, you should just get out there and shoot it. It doesn't matter what camera it is, it doesn't matter what lens, it doesn't matter all the technical stuff. You just go off and you design it from the bottom up, and you need to do that complete circle of idea to finished film.
Yes.
Now you're gonna have to again. Yeah, you have to excuse me because my cat's just come in. 1 sec.
I think the one thing that I take away from this, obviously more than just networking is that, wearing the different hats, making yourself available to everyone else as well. And then something that JC and I had talked about before, and we're kind of working with a local business on, is we loved the show Project Greenlight that came back. It was on HBO about, I don't know, it was 15 years ago. And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck got a bunch of writers together, and they did basically a reality show for who had the best script, and whoever had the best script, they helped pay and fund and produce that movie for that writer. And so something that we were thinking about here is that we would like to do like a Project Greenlight of our own for more of like an indie side of things, and look at, getting a bunch of businesses together to kind of put in a little bit of money, contribute a little bit, and help these guys kind of write these scripts out and get everything going. And then maybe whoever wins, you know, maybe through donations or whatever, we would give them a camera to film that on, or
a bit of a budget to actually make the
a
film.
bit of a
Well,
budget to work with.
Guys, it's a great idea, but there are a lot of things that you don't need money for. For example, a business could say, we don't need to give you money, but we can give you this location.
Exactly.
We can feed your crew, or we can allow you to use this piece of equipment or whatever it is. So that's a wonderful idea. That's a wonderful idea, because I think anybody who watches this and is going to hopefully feel inspired to want to make movies, knowing that it's only taking us 3 days, knowing that we're getting our films in Walmart, they're on Amazon, on Tubi, and it's gone worldwide, this film.
Yeah.
So and it's cost nothing, virtually nothing, compared to, you know, it's probably cost Johnny Depp's makeup, you know, bill. So it's it's basically nothing to make this movie. So I think, yeah, your idea is brilliant. I mean, when do you think that you're going to sort of start implementing this?
Well, so we've definitely been.
We've got Dead Again 2. We've got Dead Again 2 on the cards, guys. Remember that? When
Right.
I have actually
you remember that?
for them.
But yeah, we're definitely looking at trying to. So the business that we're working with is a local coffee shop here in town where we're at, and so we're just kind of we're trying to.
I can see it
lock
now.
That down.
Dead Again 2, locked in the coffee house.
That's it. You guys just got to come to Tennessee and we can make it happen.
Right.
I'm up for that. Tony, I'm sure Tony and Elliot are up for that. I'll be up for that.
But yeah, hopefully by the end of spring, we'll have everything kind of rolling. We kind of wanted to look at possibly doing it with, you know, younger folks, like maybe go to like a film school here in Nashville or, you know, somewhere like that, and just give them almost like an open mic night for a songwriter. You know, hey, we want you to enter your scripts in. Let's see what we got. Let some judges read it. Maybe you guys could get in on that with us. Let you guys kind of vote. And then as we go through this, you know, kind of narrow it down to one person. And then, like you said, you know, give them.
I would say that you need to fit your criteria. You need to make the criteria very, very accurate. Yeah. I have done things in the past where I've asked people to send me scripts, and I've ended up with 300 scripts, ranging from zombie apocalypses to LBGT stuff. So you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, we'll definitely be deep diving into that before we get that far for sure.
I think that's a really great idea, though. I think the thought of, because when I was at drama school, like we had towards the end of our training, we had people come in and like talk to us and do workshops and stuff. It was very kind of almost morbid to an extent of being like, here's how hard everything is. You're never going to get anything done. It's really difficult. Everything's expensive, right? It might as well have been. So, the thought of having, a couple of guys coming in and being like, hey, look, we've built this thing ourselves. Here's what we want to give back to you. Send us your scripts and let's see what we've got. I think is a really, it'll be, even if you don't win, it'll be a really encouraging thing to kind of hit at the end of your training, to kind of go, okay, there's some nice people out there. Not everyone's assholes, and people want to support you and help you.
Well, there's there's the fact that somewhere in Nashville, Tennessee, there's someone who has a script written, and that especially a horror film or something like that, we hope. And they're like, oh, it's sitting on a shelf, or like, oh, that was fun doing that. That'll never come to pass. We want to be the guy, like, between the two of us, we're willing to network the crap out of it. We will find whoever can help. We'll find whatever we can do to help get it up off the ground. That's our passion. Just as Mr. Stevens said, from writing it to editing it to getting it put out, we want to help people do that. And if that means showing it for free on our YouTube channel, or doing a Vimeo, or whatever the case may be, working with local coffee shops to show like a movie night and expose this film and try to get someone some recognition. That's where it's about for us. We want to do something local and then branch it out. and support indie horror as much as we possibly can.
And that's where Indie Film Rocket steps in, because Indie Film Rocket, there is this. I've been talking to over the years of being in this and networking again to events. There is so many talented people I've spoken to that have got films that are finished, done, edited, sitting in a can somewhere on an hard drive, never going nowhere. They don't know who to take it to, they don't know who to talk to. No one gives them a chance. And this is Indie Film Rocket. Indie Film Rocket's there ready to take these masterpieces, some of them that I've got, and put it out on a platform for them so they can actually feel that they've achieved something. Whether it brings anything back or not isn't about the profit. It's about the fact of getting your work out there, getting it shown and getting known.
Yep.
Awesome. Tony, if you'll send us over maybe in the email and any kind of info about that, links,
definitely,
info,
100%.
whatever.
100%.
Everybody, I think I speak on behalf of RL and myself for sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity to sit down with you guys. There comes Jaws. Once again,
my next
Michael.
movie.
Right.
Well, don't forget Sharry.
Oh, Sharry. Yeah. Let's give a big shout out to Sharry at Samara Entertainment for sure.
Yep.
She's been.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sharry, for the introduction.
She got all this together for us. We'll definitely be linking her up in this. I guess we'll expect this by the weekend. We'll get all this put out on the platform and edited up. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. We appreciate what you're doing.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Please
Thank
continue the
you.
good work. If there's somewhere for me to find a physical copy of this flick, just let me know.
There will be in Walmart very soon.
Really?
Oh, tell
Yeah,
yes,
it's
So here's
sir.
what we'll do.
going-
Here's what we'll do.
It's going to Walmart probably September
Oh,
with the artwork that is behind Tony.
Wonderful.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful.
I cannot wait. That's gonna be so great. I will.
If you guys pick one up, you got to make sure to send me a copy, because I don't know if we're getting DVD copies
we'll
of
do
it.
that. We'll send a copy. We'll do an unboxing or a revealing or on our
Oh,
Instagram.
amazing.
Yes.
Like it'll be out there.
we will
assure you that.
church this up for you guys.
It'll be all the way.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Cool.
Super.
Well, guys, thank you so
Amazing.
much, Tony, Elliot, Mr. Steven. Thank you so much. We
Yep.
appreciate this. We look forward to speaking with you again.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
guys. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.
Have a great one.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.